But yeah, this is a new piece of art that this refers to that moment from my short story from many years ago where like an observer from outer space is looking at the planet and kind of doing a checklist to see like what state is this planet and species in right now. And so they're in this phase where, oh, the stimuli acme is still preserved. That's the line that he says. That's a very significant line in my writing, which is the stimuli acme is preserved in this era, which means it's like, what is the stimuli acme, of course, and we have Botez and Amarantha represented in the streaming space, and this is like my character from my chess art, so I could use this as a chess art, I guess. The point being that, and I could just leave it vague, so like, oh, they can't get upset that, oh, it's Botez and Amarantha. It might not be, it just kind of looks like them, but whatever. Right, like I could play it off, she has the crown and stuff. So the point is that the queen of cult of personality, the point is that, the thing is, the stimuli acme is preserved. So the point being that, what does the stimuli acme mean? It means that humanity knows of no higher measure of value in life than sex or hedonism. And on the hedonism hierarchy that I talked about in the past, sex would be the highest on the list. So because of that, then you see that reflected in every area of life, even if you don't think about it at the time, such as the majority of profanity is sexual, the majority of music is sexual, the majority romantic, etc. The majority of life goals, the majority of conflict has to do with that, the majority of, you know, media, etc., representation, all those things. The best example is probably profanity, because that's one that people don't even think about it as they're saying it, like the F word or other words, right? You're not thinking about sex when you say it necessarily, right? But you can't think of any other higher way to express something really good happening or something really bad happening, or, you know, some really positive or negative statement. You can't think of a better way to express that than with... Can I turn off the music for this? Because it's kind of pissing me off a little bit. Yeah. You can't think, humanity cannot think of a higher measure than sex and hedonism as a form of expression, which is exactly what the stimuli acme would represent, is this obsession and fixation on it. It's not a straight condemnation of it, like to say, oh, sex is bad or anything like that. In fact, that plays into the false duality of it, that you don't have to condemn it or glorify it. It's just a natural process that happens in nature all the time. There's 8 billion people, right? Like, how much would have had to happen by then? But no, you see that repression leads to obsession concept, like, because society inhibits it so much or kind of tries to control it so much, now you see a reverse feedback loop of, like, where it becomes glorified and people obsess over it in areas that have nothing to do with it. So even chess streaming content that has nothing to do with it at all. In fact, this is a good opportunity to do something else that I wanted to show. And we'll just play like probably one game anyway. So we played as Brand, which I'm not sure actually. Like let me show this off, but then I want to kind of react to a clip that I just thought of because of that. The whole Botez cult of personality aspect that I've obviously criticized in the past. So if we go here, we got our exhaust ignite because we're level 9. And I did pretty badly in that game, but I think we are on a streak with Brand. So we won that one. I played really well. I won this one, but I played pretty badly. I started off pretty badly, at least. Although somehow I got like the highest gold score, which makes no sense at all. But no, I started off like 1 and 4. I hate those deaths at the beginning, like where I'm not trying to do anything. Right, that's my pet peeve in these games. I even said that in Dota, like where I made fun of it. I love that part where I just stand, where I'm not doing anything and I just get stun locked and killed. Like, I'm not trying to go for a kill. I'm not trying to, you know, overextend myself. I can understand, like, oh, if I go for a kill and I turret dive and stuff like that. But no, I could just be standing there doing nothing. So let me do a little Botez roast, because this triggered me. I had said about 10 years ago that women's titles shouldn't exist and people didn't like it or whatever. And so what do you, this is it. Here we go. I'll upload this as an individual. I'll upload this as an individual video, me roasting, so you get to see the art, right? She represents cult of personality, stimuli acme, etc., things like that, which isn't even necessarily her fault, right? I don't mean to pick on one person. Don't specify the conflict. Logical razor from my absolutist tendency. But the point being that it certainly is a great representation of it, because you see chess is meant to be the world's last truest meritocracy, and if even that gets corrupted by cult of personality and stimuli acme, then you're in trouble. So here we go. This is the most disingenuous thing that has ever been uttered in any sort of space in probably existence, or certainly in content creation. Look at what she says here. I've seen this, I think, or at least I've seen the part that I'm thinking of, which is not a very long video. I think we're about to crash though somehow. I don't know why it's lagging.
As the WF.
Or yeah, I'm going to put on subtitles, but it already has them in the video.
Has the WFM title done good for you, do you think?
I think it's embarrassing.
Okay, here we go. Now let's roast Botez. How many references to that title? Now it's possible she could be an NM, National Master, etc. But how many references to being a master does she make that she might not have been able to make, right, if she didn't have women's titles? How much did she use and abuse and rely on it and to benefit from it all these years? But now you want to act like, oh, you're above it, or oh, it's embarrassing, or oh, it's let's just count the times, right? I don't even have to make the case. I can just show you the case. Or maybe she's removed it now, but it's like, how many times did she use it over the years? But now she wants to act like she's above it, or let's get rid of titles, when I've milked it to be, again, a 2,000 FIDE, which is not bad, but versus I am, okay, that's fine. But she'll say it in so many videos, like titled chess player, chess master, she calls herself. Well, she wouldn't be able to call herself that even in a cheeky way. Right, you wouldn't be able to call yourself a chess master or a titled player the way that she has countless times. I'm sure she's used it many, many times. Right. I'm just going to come around that she actually changed it. So this is actually taking a while. It's definitely... Okay, let's just search by it then. I'm sure I've seen it hundreds of times referenced. It felt like she didn't upload really all that often, though. It's impressive to have such a big channel when you only upload, so that's all she's done, as far as uploads in years. Strong title. Okay, oh wow, she might have removed something. But no, I know she used chess master to describe herself, which again, you couldn't really do that unless women's FIDE master or something, something like that. Ludwig and Master Botez. Master what? Oh, the fake embarrassing title that you don't want to use. Okay, Master. Okay, fine. I swear she removed some of them too. She's like me. She thinks the same way as me, so she would do it in the opposite way. I swear to God, I've seen it. Undercover chess master plays for my number. Okay, that's not you. That's not it either. Or yeah, better yet, the Stimuli Acme. Count the number of references to either Tinder or playing for my number or something, to do with with the Stimuli Acme that has nothing to do with chess. Sort of playing into it, right? It's one thing, okay, people might perceive you that way or do something like that, but you don't have to play as me for a date. You don't have to embrace this sort of content, right? So it's sort of this overcorrection, victimization fallacy of oh, people might perceive you a certain way because you're female in chess, but you can ignore that and shun that and do something different, or you can play into it and exploit it. So you see how you're perpetuating that. Chess master, yeah, here. Oh, never mind. Fuck me. I know there's somewhere, yeah, see, between two chess masters. Do you call yourself that because you're a women's FIDE master? Is that what you mean by master? Because I'm not sure. Other masters and grandmasters. Oh, I see. So you're using the title that you're condemning. You deserve to have this be seen. Shock's chess master, which again, chess masters as in, well, Andrea, I don't think even qualifies for those kind of titles, but can 5 players beat a master? Again, who is the master? Oh, women's FIDE master, right? Unless you want to say national master, which I guess, but again, imagine flexing about that sort of entry level thing. You're not flexing about being a GM or an IM or something like that. Chess master. Okay, these are sometimes their opponents, to be fair. Chess masters, right? Who is the master here? I think this is wrong even by the metric of what I'm saying. I don't think Andrea is a master of anything, right? Even by the female titles that we're talking about. Can AI bot be the chess master without a queen? Again, calling yourself a master. Certainly the title point is being made here between a master and a chess master, which is that's disingenuous, because that'd be the difference between a GM and an IM, not a difference between a GM and a 2000 FIDE player who normally wouldn't even have a title, right? You get FM by like 2300, but chess master, dirty tricks to beat a grandmaster. Yeah, and they make up these imaginary 2900 elo inflated to women, right? How many references? We could do the same thing with that. To being woman or female. What if I do that? I'll start a channel that says, oh, I played this person for so they get my number if they beat me. But who would want to see that? Because I'm a guy. Or, oh my goodness, a man plays chess. I'm a man and I'm playing chess. So can I reference being a man? Right? Like, look how much you play into it. Like, don't give me this sort of phony shit. Right? You're making it okay. And then let's just look at her description. Two sisters who like chess and chaos, which I'm sure that I wonder if they'd be live right now. About Botez live. Oh, or maybe they just never update that, because I made fun of this before. Like, oh, they lie about their age, but how can Alexandra lies about her age? Competitive in Canada. Oh, they don't flex their title too much there. I feel like they've removed some things, but whatever.
Is because I've asked a lot of young girls what they're looking forward to in chess, and so many of them use female titles as a reason why they're still playing. So it's like, okay, that's a...
But that's like a fallacy too, because look forward to pretend they didn't exist, and you'd be looking forward to the regular titles. Don't look forward to special treatment. Look forward to the meritocracy.
I wish that I'd never gotten a female title and just gone for a regular title.
Again, it's the same thing. Like, unless you're going to say NM and you're going to brag about that, it gave you plenty of bragging rights, like women's master. I'm a chess master that she keeps calling herself.
We don't have female PhDs. We just have PhDs.
Oh, here we go. This actually triggers me at a level that is extreme.
Talking about women being some of the best chess players in the world, not best women chess players. Exactly. I actually do believe that. Not just.
But that's why we glorify Judith Polgar, not just because she's good.
But I really do think that we're seeing that.
That is so disgustingly disingenuous, because again, she's saying that from a position of having benefited from that so much, not just the titles, but the whole general aura around it, that, oh, look at us breaking down stereotypes that women aren't good at chess or something, and getting so much attention because of it, because it's like, it is like an overcorrection fallacy. There's like this perceived, oh, mistreatment of women in chess or lack of women in chess. So now you overcompensate and be like, well, now look, oh my goodness, this woman's playing chess and it's such a big deal. Even though it wouldn't be a big deal if a guy was doing the same thing. You're treating them almost disrespectfully, but in a way that helps them. Like, you're negatively stereotyping and saying, oh, you know, I'm only going to play one game. So this is why I'm sort of doing this as an intro. But I was going to mention this in a different time, but because of the art, I figured I'd talk about it now. The point is that you're in a position to say that you benefited from it because, again, show me the 2000 FIDE, you know, male who would be playing chess and be able to do a lot of those things, playing people for my number, showing off my Tinder profile, talking about being a man constantly in my videos, making that a big deal, right? Like, you're playing into that, what I call myopic marginalization, like people looking at something for the first time and knowing nothing about it, right? To the uninitiated, to the ignorant masses. And so to them, it's like, oh my goodness, look, a woman playing chess at a moderate level, that's a big deal. Wow, we've never seen that before. We don't know about Judith Polgar and all these other better players that would trivialize the whole thing. So it's not about them actually being good. It only makes them seem good by comparison to your own ignorance of not knowing that they're actually good players. So if you actually respect good female players, or just good players, period, you wouldn't care about that. You would care about the GMs and stuff. And if you don't, then you don't care at all. But there's like this halfway pretense of like, oh, but they are good, but they're not that good. So if you really cared about that. So that's the problem that you run into, though. There's an inconsistency, and there is a disingenuous element to like, oh, now you'll say the title shouldn't be there. Now you'll say like, oh, maybe we won't do the sexual content, you know, innuendo, playing for my number, trying to just reference being a woman constantly. And that doesn't even have to be a Stimuli Acme. Well, it sort of is, but it's like, it doesn't have to be a Stimuli Acme argument. It could just be a it could be a situation where I should do a tier list like that. Maybe I won't do league. I'll do a tier list ranking the extent. The problem is I don't watch these people enough. I'll rank streamers based on how much they use the Stimuli Acme or rely on it or benefit from it, right? So How many times do you reference, oh, being a woman chess player? So again, the negative stereotypes like, oh, they're not good at chess somehow, or even though that's not true, you know, there's plenty of great players, or some stereotype like they've somehow been mistreated in chess. So now you're trying to overcorrect by giving special treatment to people who aren't as good as 20,000 other men who don't get any credit in the world. So like, you know, you give them special treatment that way. You give them like this sort of weird myopic perspective, like, oh my goodness, look, it's such a novelty, it's such a big deal, even though it's not a big deal. So if you really cared, you would appreciate the female GMs, right? If you, or just GMs in general, if you want a high level of chess, or you wouldn't care at all. But this mid-level is kind of the worst of both worlds, because if you really cared, there's people who are much better. And if you didn't care, then you wouldn't care at all. But then there's this cult of personality that comes into it. So, you know, that would be a funny idea. You do a tier list that's like, you do a tier list that is like rating streamers based on their amount that they abuse or benefit from the Stimuli Acme.